Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going over a Bow Valley real estate market update for September. We're going to talk about some statistics and then make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because we got lots to talk about today in regards to these numbers and why they're doing what they're doing and where we think that's going to be heading. So why don't we start talking off with Canmore and the specific surrounding markets that are close by. Do you want to lead off?
Sounds good. So we had 25 sales in the month of September. Average sale price 1.157 and change. The average square foot price was $747 a square foot, and the average days on the market were 49.
Dead Man's Flats. We saw one sale. For the sale price for that property was $605,000. The average square foot price was $1,081, and it took an average of 53 days to sell. Harvey Heights, we saw nothing, as well as Lac des Arcs.
In Exshaw, there was one sale, $405,000 was the average, or the sales price. The average square foot price, we don't have that data. And the average days in the market was 24.
It was just a lot for that Exshaw property.
Okay.
Do you want to do Banff as well?
Sure. Banff, we had 4 sales, 1.3 million and change. $678 a square foot, and the average days on the market was 83.
Now let's dive into the Canmore market specifically, talk about some specific property types and see what had happened. So for single family home, we saw 4 sales for an average sale price of just under 1.8 million. The average square foot price was $768, and it took an average of 30 days to sell.
Townhomes, we had 9 sales. Average sale price was 1.1 million and change, $630 a square foot, and 56 days on the market.
Apartments, we had 7 sales for an average sale price of just over $850,000. The average square foot price was $831 a foot, and it took an average of 62 days to sell.
Half duplexes, we had 2 sales for 1.631 million. $620 was the average square foot price and 29 days on the market.
Moving into short-term rentals, hotel condo, we saw 3 sales for an average sale price of $867,000 and change. The average square foot price $962 a foot, and it took an average of 36 days to sell. Tourist home, there was nothing.
And so keep in mind on the average days on the market, these are on the sold data, right?
Yeah,
we will talk about
that.
the active data,
Yeah,
and what that looks like later here.
For sure. Quickly, just to go over our inventory levels moving into October. So currently we have 40 single-family homes on the market, 47 townhomes, 46 apartments, 13 half-duplex, 16 hotel condos, and 2 tourist homes. Let's talk about some year-to-date statistics and end-of-month active inventory. Do you want to talk about our sold listings year-to-date?
Sure. So in 2024, we had 376 listings that sold at the end of September. And in 2025, we have 333. So we're down about 11%.
Our end-of-month active inventory, in 2024, we had 147. And in 2025, we have 168. So that's a 14% increase.
And the average sale price was 1.168,968 million in 2024. And 2025 is 1.219168. So a 10.5% increase in price from 24 to 25.
Yeah, so that's the statistics for the month of September for Canmore and surrounding area. Now we can kind of break down those numbers, talk about some of the key highlights that we found. I think the most notably is the inventory levels that we're starting to see. Our month supply of inventory is at 4.37 month supply, which is a 21% increase from last September.
Yeah.
So inventory levels are rising, and I think we're starting to see that transition to more of a buyer's market.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about it last month, and we've talked about it over the last 3 or 4 months, seeing the trend going this way. What we didn't know was, because we had a couple of really big sales and our price was still up, and the average sale price, the days in the market was high, I think we were, because of the history of what's gone on in the valley, we kind of looked at that and went, we could see a trend changing, but we weren't sure where it was going. But I think we are probably changing into a buyer's market. With the inventory, the supply always, when it goes up and the months of inventory go up, typically prices level out. Now, I don't think we're in a recession by any means. There's some other things that we'll talk about, interest rates, those types of things. But I do think, we are seeing more stuff staying longer on the market.
And I think by buyer's market, what we really mean by that is there's just more selection for buyers and there's increased competition for sellers. It doesn't necessarily mean, like, if I would have told you that in September of 2025 at the start of the year, our appreciation rate was going to be at 10.5%, everybody who owns a home in Canmore would be like,
yeah, that's
all
good.
right.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. So, like, it's not really, like, that alarming to me. What's more, I don't want to say alarming, but what's the curious thing to watch is that we're seeing a 21% rise in inventory levels, which we haven't had in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see how that continues to affect pricing. The average sale price year to date.
Well, and we were through COVID and just after, we were talking about how low our inventory was.
Yeah.
So it's that, where's that happy medium? I mean, one thing that I think is really important is the active inventory days on the market. Right? So we're sitting at 88 days. So what that tells me is the active inventory is not priced correctly.
Yeah, it's not responding to...
Sellers are still chasing, the top dollar, which I totally understand when you see where we've come from in the last 5 years. But I think the market's starting to dictate that, hey, listen, if you are priced correctly, you can look at things selling really quickly. A prime example is 8 sales in September sold in less than 20 days. That's 32% of the sales from that month. And why? Well, 2 reasons. You find a place that you really love, or most likely priced properly, therefore moves quicker.
Yeah, well, and to add to that, 7 of the 25 sales in September were also listed in September.
Yes.
So those 7 sales had an average days on the market of 11.
I know.
So that tells me that there's still some buyers out there for sure.
Yeah.
And the inventory that's coming to market, a good portion of it is being priced properly. And I don't want to say a good portion of it, but a percentage of the agents, and it's not necessarily the agents, but the sellers as well, are understanding what's happening.
They're educated,
and getting the proper education on these statistics and going, okay, this is what I need to do to move my property, if that's what you want to do.
Again, it comes down to motivation.
Yes.
Some people are testing the market.
Yep.
We see it in other areas, out at our lake place that we go to every summer. We see these places come to market with astronomical prices on them. There are people that test the market in these types of things. But for the majority, I think that pricing it correctly and being educated on what the market is doing will in turn sell your price for the most amount of money. Because we all know in this industry, if you try and overprice, you're typically going to end up lower than what you would have probably had to not settle for, but where it would have been market value. Because in a downturning market, you end up going, because it keeps dropping a little bit, you end up, if you price it here, you sell a little bit less, but you end up way down here because you get into the 88 days in the market.
And that's where people need to keep in mind, sellers specifically, and buyers too, but mainly sellers, is they need to take that with a grain of salt. Because although 28% of the sales were sold in 11 days or less, we're still seeing arguably what we usually see in January for total number of sales in the month. So it's not a time to... let's put it on the market at this price and let's see what we can get. You're wasting your time, in my opinion. 100%. It's pointless. I mean, if you're going to throw it up and then you're going to take it off in a month and then potentially just relist in the spring, and you have that flexibility. I mean, sure, I'm personally not bringing buyers to these places because there's just more inventory and
unless there's an anomaly of a place, the issue becomes is, and I don't want to sound, because we all do this, we always think our place is the best place out there. But there are anomalies in Canmore. We went to a place the other day up in Canyon there, and single house, 2 lots on either side that you could buy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Somebody with the right money and has the ability to buy both lots on either side could go, wow.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by an anomaly. I don't mean, oh, my house is an anomaly because I love it the most.
Yeah.
Right? We all tend to do that. Our stuff and our kids and our everything are the best. Right?
For sure.
So, those are important.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about interest rates, because I think that could have a little bit of bearing on what's going on.
Yeah, so I had some, obviously everyone saw that we dropped a 1/4 basis point, and there's plans to drop again at the end of October. I actually had a good conversation with a mortgage broker the other day, just kind of about this and what's happening. And this isn't really my area of expertise at all. But what's kind of happening is in interest rates, they almost like went up a little bit, like the actual rates that you could get from lenders, and now they're kind of still hovering around that 4%, give or take. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, if interest rates come down, I think that makes a difference. We've talked about it before. 0.5 point on your interest rate can be decently significant in this town with the average sale price of properties, but it's definitely something to monitor. Now, the other side of it too is I don't know if it's that big of a gap where if you're a buyer to hold out on some potentially good opportunities right now, to wait till the spring to potentially get a 0.5 point less. Like, I don't know if, that's up to you at the end of the day, but statistically that never has really boded that well.
Well, typically in Canmore, we don't see the deals in the spring.
No.
And I was talking with some clients today about this, in fact, and the markets where you may see a price gap in time of year might be in the short-term rental game, because typically our busy months are, May through the end of November. So people tend to get a little bit more money for their product, or there's more people looking, which could drive your price up.
Yep.
We won't see that in the residential market.
No.
There might be more people looking in March, April, May than in December and January. But typically in the Valley, October, November are really, really good months. September, October specifically are really good months to be selling and buying. So I don't think you can time the market that way. Again, there's so much uncertainty and so much going on that we could be sitting here in 3 months going, prices are going up again.
Yeah.
Or we could be sitting here talking about another decrease and more inventory. And there's just, with interest rates dropping, you can't, none of it adds up to say we are completely going into a recession buyer's market.
Yeah.
It's leaning towards a buyer's market, but not a recession. So I think that we just have to keep an eye on it. And those are good things. You don't want the market to go from here to here and vice versa.
Yeah.
What we saw coming out of COVID was this. And I think that's what people are coming to expect.
Yeah.
Now we're just seeing this, and then I think it's going to level off, and we'll see, steady growth.
Yeah. Like, I think we can touch on this average sale price a little bit, but I think that the average sale price year to date is going to continue to go down. I think we could probably end up somewhere between like 6 and 8% by the end of the year. I think that's going to be the number we're talking about if I was betting. But let's talk a little bit about that. We're up 10.5% year to date from last year, which, like we talked about at the start of the video, everybody's going to be happy with that at the end of the day. That being said, we're at 13% last month. So that's almost another 3%
Two and a
drop,
half,
which
yeah.
we've basically seen happen for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Is 3% every single month.
Yeah.
So the question is it going to slow down more, or are we going to kind of see it hold a little bit? I think it's going to slow down more. I just don't know if it's going to continue at the 3%, but
No,
we'll see.
I don't. I really don't think it will. But again, from 5 years ago to now, we basically saw, I don't know, 80, 75% growth in a lot of the market. You could get a house for $1 million, now it's 1.8. So we saw massive growth. So that has to level out a bit, and where that is, I don't know. But we are in a so-called resort type of place where people want to come, want to live, want to visit, want to have a second home. And I know second homes and all that's a touchy subject, and that's for a total different time, and I can appreciate both sides. So, but I think we're seeing the market level out, which is not a bad thing. The growth of 50%, 60%, 70% in 5 years is not sustainable.
No,
No.
it's not. And then lastly, Smith Creek Phase 1 heading to Town Council this month. So we'll keep you guys posted with what's going on there. But again, there's going to be lots of opportunity kind of over the next 5 years of detached and semi-detached stuff that's going to be up there and whatnot. And then obviously there's a whole bunch more after that as well. So,
And I have had some conversations, sorry Parker, with some developers, and I know sometimes the perception of developers is greed. I mean, you hear it in different circles, and you see it on Facebook, and these different developments. But the developers that I know, the majority of them are super conscientious of the affordable housing issue, to the point where they're actually doing more than what might be required by the town of Canmore or the MD of Bighorn where we are. And I think that that's important. They see something that needs to be fixed. We need affordable housing. We need places for people, employees that have that work in town. So employers need to have some place where these people can stay. Otherwise, we don't have sustainability. We become a bedroom community, and that will happen a little bit because Cochrane's close. Prices are definitely more affordable there. We were talking a little bit about that, you and I. So I think that it's important to understand that developers are aware of the affordable housing issues, along with governments and municipal bodies and towns and all of these types of things. They're very aware of it, but it's not a simple fix. It's very dynamic, and it's going to take some time for it to come to light here.
yeah, it's going to take a lot of people to be a part of it with the price of land, is my perspective. But that's September in a nutshell. Obviously, we look forward to coming at you with some October statistics, but thank you so much for watching and staying tuned to the channel. If you could like and subscribe, it really does help us grow, and we look forward to coming at you with some more content moving forward. Take care.